Peskies Pest Control. Put your bugs on the run. Call 205-470-8161.
Welcome to another episode of Peskies Pest Control podcast here in Birmingham, Alabama with Michael and Travis. We do this podcast as a community service for Birmingham, Hoover, Vestavia Hills, Mountain Brook, Helena, Alabaster, Pelham, and all other surrounding areas. Hey, so today on the Peskies Pest Control podcast, I have my personal friend Drew Babyak, and he owns Rescuer LLC. So we're just promoting his business and kind of bringing his business to light, what he does and what he can do for you. Take it away, Drew.
Hey, good morning. Appreciate you having me on. Excited to kind of shine a light on an important subject. I appreciate you bringing me on today. Yeah,
definitely. So let's talk about, my favorite part about a business is kind of, where'd you get your start, as an entrepreneur? What just made you want to start this business?
So me and my business partner, Joseph Patton, we spent a lot of time working together at one of our fire departments. I left that second fire department. And we were just kind of discussing different things that we could do to with our free time instead of working a second fire department. And we were discussing CPR and kind of the needs for it. We knew a couple guys that taught a class here and there, and just we're discussing it. And we kind of thought that a good idea to go after it because it was a need that we saw. We were going on scenes and seeing where people were either afraid to do CPR, they weren't doing CPR. And it's just something that as firefighter paramedics, we know very well. So we were like, we could go and teach this with extreme confidence, bring real life scenarios and real life knowledge to people, and hopefully, educate people so that they would act in scenes rather than be scared to help someone, especially when it comes to a loved one.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's no right or wrong to CPR when somebody's down on the ground dying. I mean, as long as you're pumping on that chest, something's better than nothing.
Absolutely. That's what we try to get out of everybody is just the confidence to at least act.
Yeah. Well, how'd you come up with the name?
So Rescuer came around. We were talking about just different names, and Rescuer stuck because we were like, when we teach the class and you are now knowledgeable in this skill, you become a rescuer on the scene. You are the person that's making the difference. So we felt like it had a good meaning behind it. It kind of is catchy. It makes sense. And it was simple. So we wanted to, we ran with it. Rescuer is just that act of to helping somebody. And that's what we want people to do.
Awesome. Well, what made you want to start just being an entrepreneur? I mean, what got you kind of into that, in that mindset?
So in the fire service, most guys, they start with one job, and with our schedules, we work 24 hours on, 48 hours off. Well, with that other 48 hours, a lot of guys, either find another side business. But what kind of comes naturally, it seems like people go work a second fire department because the scheduling allows it. And when we got into it, we wanted to prevent people from working two fire departments. I left my second fire department because I loved it so much, but I was missing so much on life. Being gone for 48 hours, doesn't sound like much to some people, but to the other person, it's a lot. That's 2 nights away from being away from your home, from your family. So we went after it because we wanted to kind of get away from that. Trying the best way to describe it, that natural thing that people do. So we left, got into it, and now we get to work normal hours and spend more time with our families and enjoy. Improves our quality of life. So Rescuer has definitely been a blessing to both of us.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was in the fire service for 15 years, and I mean, you'd see these guys working 48s just coming in like zombies, and it's not healthy. I've always been against it. I've never worked 48s, and I always said I would never work 48s. So I love that you're giving these guys a chance to stay in their field and be able to make some extra money in something that they already know and are good at.
Absolutely. It has been great. Right now we've been hiring just firefighter paramedics. Like I said, strict goal is to get the guys away from the 48s, and we're slowly working towards it. As we grow, I think we'll be able to get more and more guys involved. teaching. That's our ultimate goal, is only to hire firefighter paramedics, just because that is something that they're so knowledgeable in. They're confident in that skill. So when we send them out to teach classes, you get a really good experience. You're going to leave with someone that was able to answer all your questions about CPR. People start asking questions. We didn't just go take a class to teach you. We took the class and we've used it. So when you ask your questions during the class to kind of give you that comfortability or confidence, we're able to answer it in the best way possible.
Well, and that too, your class is fun. I mean, you got a lot of firemen teaching the class, and we know how firemen are. They, like to joke and have a good time. It's not something that's going to be boring. It's going to be entertaining, and it's going to be educational at the same time. So,
oh yeah, we definitely. So we know everybody. No one loves to sit in a class and just be read to from a PowerPoint. We try to make it as involved as possible. We like to cut up and crack jokes and make it as light as possible. And when we get in the hands-on, we like to make it a little more fun. We don't just sit there and ask you to do this. We give you little fun scenarios and make you think. And it's also a really good team building thing. So we bring these companies in that like to invest in their people. And, in the beginning, they might be a little, unsure of what's going to happen. But by the end, everybody's laughing and having a good time, and while learning something that is so valuable.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. These classes, I love teaching them.
That's great. So let's talk about how important CPR is. I mean, I know the American Heart Association says about 350,000 people die per year in cardiac arrest. And it's something that's pretty preventable. I know you've got some stories. I've got some stories. So give me a scenario of a real life event where, you saw CPR work right then and there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have. This story is it's unreal. So to put in perspective the importance of CPR, I'll start with that. So CPR, we do CPR when someone's heart completely stops. So if someone is not breathing and doesn't have a pulse, we start CPR. And what we're doing is we're mechanically pumping the heart to move the oxygen that's inside the body to perfuse the organs to keep them alive. So for every minute that we're not moving the oxygen through their blood, their chance of survival drops 10%. So to put that in another perspective, when you call the fire department and they're dispatched to you, a good response is going to be 3 to 5 minutes. Well, if you're not doing anything, if you're not performing CPR, well, their chance of survivability has now dropped to 50 to 70%. So that's something that we want to kind of change. We want people to act immediately, so that whether it's just a bystander or a loved one, we want to give them that opportunity to survive. There's only so much that we can do, but if the difference, of them walking out was just CPR, we want to, if that's something we can control. The craziest story that I've had as a firefighter paramedic, we were dispatched to a cardiac arrest to a triathlon athlete. This was a male who was roughly, young, early 50s, super healthy guy. He was running a triathlon. I mean, this guy is an athlete. Well, he goes into cardiac arrest mid race. To his luck, and I mean to his luck, a pediatric doctor was running in the race, and she was behind him. She witnessed him collapse and began CPR. She starts doing compressions. She activates the emergency system by calling 911. The paramedics that were on scene working the event got to the patient, put them on their AED, and they administered a shock to the patient. By the time that I got on scene, which was roughly 8 to 10 minutes after the initial call, the patient was no longer in a full arrest. He was still, still kind of having the effects from it.
Well, he just went into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, so he went from a really bad day. So to put in perspective, most time when we work cardiac arrest, even if we get what we call ROSC or get their heart rhythm back, most time they still stay kind of unresponsive and just a different state. Mm-hmm. Well, this male had immediate CPR, immediate defibrillation or shock to the heart. And by the time that I got on scene and we were loading him in the ambulance, somebody asked, "Hey, what is this male's name?" And he lifted his head up and answered the question to us. I had never seen that, and we give all the credit to the doctor that started immediate compressions, mm-hmm. and our paramedics who were able to get on scene and give a quick defibrillation or shock to the heart. So that was a huge success story. This guy went to the hospital to get checked out, and by the next day he was released and was able to go home to his family because of good CPR and a quick action from bystanders.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, and you have to understand, I mean, with the fire department, they have to get in the truck, they have to go, they have to get there. You're talking 1-2 minutes as fast as they can get there. But, and then you've got to take into account of when the person went down and when the person that called found them. So, it time wise, you can be 5, 6, 10 minutes before CPR is even started.
Oh,
so.
Absolutely. And if it's been 5 minutes, like we said, for every minute's 10%, we're already down to 50%. And we want to give everybody the best chance possible.
Oh yeah. Well, man, I love the business. I mean, helping people and bringing someone's, office together, teaching them a very valuable skill that they can help one of their coworkers, one of their family members, a random person running a marathon. So tell me, tell everyone where you can, what areas do you service around here local?
So we are a Birmingham-based company, but we are fully mobile. So we travel to your business to teach the classes. That creates a huge convenience, especially for scheduling and trying to get your people together for these kinds of classes. But we'll travel anywhere. We've traveled to Tampa to teach classes, Atlanta, Pensacola, and Destin. So there's really not a spot that we won't go. We like traveling, and we really enjoy just bringing our class to you. We provide a really fun class. We've got some good stories to bring and good attitudes that make this class a lot of fun. So we like to go wherever we're needed.
That's awesome. And hey, I mean, I was looking on your website. I mean, you teach all of Alabama, so that's pretty.
Yeah. So
pretty cool
the University of Alabama nursing, we teach them their BLS at the beginning of every semester. So the nursing students have to have what's called basic life support, which is just a fancier version of CPR, but it's for medical professionals. But they have to have that before they go do their clinicals in the hospital. So it's really fun. The Alabama nursing class is a really great class to teach, just because they're all so young and fresh in the profession. They're super eager, and so when we go teach these classes, they eat it up. They're super excited to learn that new skill.
Well, good deal. Well, so anybody that's looking to start a class with you, where can they find you? Phone number?
Yeah. So you can reach us at through email. Our email is info at rescuer LLC.com. And you can reach us at my phone number. So it's 334-595-2737. We take phone calls, text, email. You can go to our Facebook at Rescuer LLC, Instagram, whatever your choice of contact is. We can respond through any of them. To book classes, we just ask you to reach out, and we'll talk. Some people like to say, hey, Mondays are a great day for us because we have staff meetings from 10 to 12. And we're like, well, great. So how about we meet you at, 12:30, 1 o'clock. So our scheduling is super flexible with our, being firemen, where we don't have a set schedule. Once our off days we're off days. So, we like to create that convenience of coming to you and working around your schedule. We know that scheduling part of getting a lot of people together, like herding cats, we know it gets tough. So we want to make that as easy as possible for you.
Well, good deal. Well, Drew, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. And again, I know it took a little while us getting our schedules together, but again, thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for listening to the Peskies Pest Control podcast here in Birmingham, Alabama with Michael and Travis. If you have any questions about what we've discussed today, please give us a call at 205-470-8161. And as for me, Michael Wienecke, I'll be happy to speak with you anytime. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends and subscribe to us on Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Google Peskies.